So, after BioWare's recent community update went up to the BioWare blog, there's been a slew of comments from fans everywhere that the next Mass Effect game is very far away, some mentioning a time span of 5+ years before we could get our hands on it. But will it really take that long to make the next chapter of Mass Effect? How's it going, guys? Mr. Holton here. And today I want to talk a little bit about when we could possibly see Mass Effect 4 or Mass Effect 5 releasing. Now, the main reason to why a lot of people are having this knee-jerk reaction is, well, it's actually a couple of different reasons. But starting off, in the latest BioWare blog post, BioWare stated, and I quote, "There's also the next game in the Mass Effect universe, which is now early in development. It's going to be a while before we can talk about it in more detail, but we can't wait to show you what we're working on." And the focus on this statement is, of course, early in development, and it's going to be a while. Now, while I can't really tell you how long it'll be until we see the next update, I'm going to give you my own take on why I don't think that the next Mass Effect is as far away as a lot of people are expecting. And with that, let's talk about Mass Effect Andromeda for a moment. Now, I'm not gonna dive into everything that went wrong during the development of that game, but we do need to make some things clear. First of all, when it comes to game development, the time it takes to make a good game is almost entirely dependent on the tools the developers have at their disposal, as well as how well the production of the game is planned out. And we can say right off the bat that Mass Effect Andromeda's development cycle was not a good example of any of them. There are, of course, several reasons, but the biggest elephants in the room were 1. The fact that EA had mandated all their studios to use the Frostbite engine, a game engine that was made with the intention of designing first-person shooters, not third-person adventure games. 2. BioWare spent 3.5 of those 5 famous years creating a procedural generation system that would create planets and environments for exploration, just like that of No Man's Sky. Except this entire idea was scrapped. So BioWare had to literally start almost entirely from scratch. So essentially, most of the work done on Andromeda took 18 months. That's 1.5 years. That is insane. And reason number 3. A sort of rivalry had started to form between BioWare Edmonton and Montreal, and instead of really helping each other, the different offices were effectively competing with each other, which reduced the overall effectiveness.
You'll regret this day, friend! I'm not your friend, buddy! I'm not your buddy,
I highly recommend that you go read Jason Schreier's story on it. You could also go watch Matt McMuscle's video on it, where he brilliantly breaks down what exactly happened during that 5-year period. Anyway, most fans that think of this 5-year development cycle are usually thinking about what happened to Mass Effect Andromeda. Except you shouldn't. And let me tell you why. We can begin by mentioning that the next Mass Effect game will almost certainly use the Unreal Engine 5, not Frostbite. Unreal 5 has already proven to be a revolutionary game engine, as it's extremely effective and has functions that no other engine has. An example is the mega scanning feature, which literally lets you scan real-world objects into the engine itself. And then there's MetaHuman, which is like an extremely detailed character creation system for developers. And not to mention Lumen, which creates light reflection in real time, and Nanite, which is the most advanced polygon system to date. Now, to a lot of you guys, that might sound like mumbo jumbo. Hell, it does to me as well. But from my limited understanding, Unreal Engine 5 has already proven to be a much better system than Frostbite. Developers can even import old assets from old versions of Unreal to Unreal 5, which could lessen the workload even more, especially since the original Mass Effect trilogy was made in Unreal. There really is a good reason to why every major studio and their mothers are switching over to Unreal 5. If you want a more in-depth understanding of it, then head on over to Unreal Sensei's video on it, and you'll see what I mean. Now, while using the Unreal Engine 5 doesn't necessarily guarantee that the development for Mass Effect 4 or 5 will be shorter, it does however suggest that BioWare could have an easier time making the next game because of how intuitive Unreal 5 supposedly is to use. Now, I've read that Unreal 5 could be overwhelming to some beginners. but supposedly when you get used to it, it becomes an incredibly powerful tool for developers. And also, let's not forget about another thing here, and that's the fact that the next Mass Effect teaser trailer was released in December 2020. Remember, this teaser trailer was fully animated with intentional callbacks to the original trilogy, so BioWare had no doubt already worked on the overall synopsis of the game. So saying that, we can already basically hack off 1.5 years of development, which, incidentally, was the real development time for Mass Effect Andromeda. Of course, we shouldn't rush BioWare to release the game tomorrow by any means. It should only be released when it's finished. Heck, I'd happily wait 10 years for the next Mass Effect game if it turns out to be the same caliber as Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3. Honestly, if I were to hazard a guess, with everything we do know, I think it could possibly be out around 2024 at the earliest, or 2025, which is more likely in my opinion. Mainly because that fits the timeline that it usually takes to make AAA games. But that is if everything goes to plan and it doesn't turn out to be Andromeda 2.0. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't come to that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, have a great day guys. Mr. Holton, signing out.